My name is Chris Miller. I'm a current student pursuing my doctorate of psychology degree at California Southern University. I currently operate a counseling practice here in lovely Palm Desert, California. I've always wanted to do something to help people. In fact, growing up, I often thought that I would like to be a counselor. I really enjoyed public speaking. I found that I felt inspired by that. It was something that I was very excited about. I practiced in the Riverside County area here in Southern California under a clinical supervisor as an intern for several years, and then had an opportunity together with that to be a clinical social worker. So I did that for about 12 years, and then I actually experienced some burnout in my career. Really wasn't sure where I wanted to go with my career. I was kind of at a place where I didn't know what my future was in the field of counseling, and it was a very kind of a discouraging time for me. I was just sort of meandering in my career, so I actually left the counseling profession after about 10 or 12 years. I know that somewhere back in my mind I always knew that counseling was my love and my passion, and public speaking and helping people, and in the process of soul searching realized that I wanted to return to counseling. I wanted to dig deep roots, and I really wanted to develop a career that would sustain over the long haul, something that I could be proud of, a legacy of sorts that I could pass on to my children. And one of the things I love about counseling, what I love about the people helping profession, is it really draws from your inner core as a person. It demands really the best of who you are. And so I knew that if I was going to reignite my career in the area of counseling, one of the challenging yet very exciting aspects of that was the fact that I would have to also develop as a person. I've spent several years tinkering with the idea of going back to school and have always wanted to complete my doctorate, but it never really seemed like there was that right balance between the degree program and the cost that was involved financially. Many of the programs I found were very expensive, and I just didn't have the funds for it, couldn't justify it. But I heard a commercial about California Southern University, and I found that the price was unbeatable. It wasn't just a good price, but when I actually looked into the program, it really struck me as a very quality program. And I knew at that point that I found the school that I was to continue to pursue my doctorate in. When I considered the PsyD program, there were a number of questions that I had. You know, in a tough economy, how could I spend this money? You know, shouldn't I be saving it? At the end of the day, what I recognized is that it's very, very important to dig deep. If you're committed as a professional and you really want to be successful, sometimes you have to take a leap of faith. You have to step out. If you have a vision for a doctorate degree, and that's something you've always wanted, don't let time pass, because you don't want to have to look back and say, you know, gosh, I wish I had done that. Studying now and the things that I'm learning, it's opening a whole new world, and I'm understanding a lot more than I ever did before. And it helps me, I think, be a more well-rounded person. We just have one shot at this life, and I'm not going to let that stand in the way. I'm going to push forward one day at a time, one step at a time, just show up and continue to dig into what I enjoy doing and what my vision is. It's amazing that as I've done that, I'm seeing that vision become a reality, and that's a really great feeling.